morning, friends. Stephen Benoon here on Fact News Network, and just real quick, wanted to give you guys an update of some things that are going on. It is being reported that Julian Assange, that Trump has offered him a pardon deal in return for the 2016 DNC emails source disclosure, a lawyer says. And this is very troubling, to say the least. The president attempted to cut a deal with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, offering the wanted journalist a pardon in exchange for the source of the 2016 DNC emails. Assange refused to betray the source, and it goes on to say that Assange defense revealed the pardon deal to a court in London on Friday, where the WikiLeaks founder is currently fighting extradition to the U.S. Should he lose, he'll be tried for espionage offenses and could face 175 years behind bars. Assange was apparently offered an out by Trump administration defense lawyer. Jennifer Robinson told the court that former U.S. Republican Dana Rohrabacher of another Trump campaign associate, Charles Johnson, offered a pardon if Assange were to reveal the source of the emails, which were widely considered to have helped Trump win the 2016 presidential election. But the problem is that revealing anything like this would be devastating for journalists, whether you're mainstream journalist, independent journalist. It'd be devastating for journalists, and even more so for those that who do have inside sources that share information that comes out. And so this is something that we have to be extremely careful about, and I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of this as well. And not only that, though, I'd like for you to take a look at Daniel Ellsberg. He weighed in on this, on the Julian Assange issue on September 17th. Let's listen to what he has to say here.
Press has remained in kind of a state of denial for 40 years, really, since my case, that the Espionage Act has wording in it that could be aimed directly at them, at the journalists and publishers, although until this case, it hasn't done so. So now the American press is staring right down the barrel at the use of the Espionage Act against American journalists and publishers for doing journalism, for doing what they do best, at their best every day, of getting information that the government doesn't want known to the public because of their wrongdoing, their lies, their crimes, whatever. There's a lot of those, and that's what is mainly the secrecy system is intended to protect indefinitely. Now, it's not only American journalists here, although the American First Amendment, the core of our form of government, I would say, is at stake at this right now and is being attacked. Actually, if Julian is extradited, as I say, as you said, it will lead to prosecution here and probably conviction, and he will be the first journalist and publisher, but not the last. New York Times probably won't be the second either. It might be the third or the fourth, and you, Amy, as well. So everybody has a stake in this. Meanwhile, if Julian is extradited to the United States to face these charges for doing the journalism that he has, the charges that are made against him, no journalist in the world is safe from life imprisonment in the United States of America. So the stakes here are enormous. And for freedom of the press,
the thing is, that was the point that I wanted to be able to get you guys to right there, is where he speaks about what would happen to journalists in America. You know, we've enjoyed our freedom of press, you know, our First Amendment rights here for a long time. And so it is very troubling when we find out that they're looking to do things like this to journalists here. And Julian Assange, of course, is that example of what we can expect in the future. Also, Iran, U.S. is getting ready to declare UN sanctions on Iran are back. I didn't ever think they actually lifted them, quite frankly. But that's becoming another big showdown. And I think personally what this is all about is that it is to really help provoke Iran into a war with Israel. They've done a lot, Israel and the U.S. both have been doing a lot to try to bring Iran out, get Iran to attack Israel. And probably well, I can't say it's one of the only reasons why Iran has not retaliated for all the attacks that have been on them. It could be too that Iran is fearful. Iran has seen what happened over in Lebanon. And so the thing is that if if Iran goes to launch any kind of attack against Israel, they know it will be an annihilation of their country, their people, and that would be devastating. And there's another reason why, too, I think Israel has not struck heavily in Iran already is because of the large Jewish community there that refuses to leave Iran. That's another big problem for Israel because the Jewish people that live in Iran, they don't have this harbored hatred towards the Iranian against Iran in the first place. Now, I'm sure there's many people that are not that crazy about the Iranian government under this religious lockdown. It's not like it was, say, back in the 70s, but it is something that we need to really think about, as far as these things are definitely being provoked. And it is going to drag Iran eventually to the point to where they're going to strike. And when they do, I'm sure they'll strike heavily, which will be a disaster, not only for the Iranians because of the retaliation will be with tactical nukes, but it'll also be a disaster for Israelis, innocent Israelis, even Palestinians, because of the bombs that will be lobbed. No doubt chemical weapons will be used, and I've been even told that nuclear weapons would be used. So that kind of begs the question whether or not Iran does or does not actually have nuclear capabilities. So, but anyway, Joshua, I just happened to catch your comment there as I'm getting ready to switch the screens there. I would love to actually put that back up there, but it seems that people are just not quite interested in knowing what really goes on in this world. So that will probably have to be done at a later date at another place. Anyway, I just wanted one thing I thought was interesting, and I wanted to just share this with you. This is the Times of Israel. If you ever watch mainstream media articles, always parrot the same line. So yes, Israel's news is also parroting the same line. U.S. to declare UN sanctions on Iran are back. Isn't that interesting? AP says it. Showdown set as U.S. to declare UN sanctions on Iran are back. So Israel's also parroting the exact same thing. Let's see. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to share with you. This is the continued epidemic of the mask and those people willing to protest those orders. And I wanted you guys to be able to see this. Parents at a school meeting there, a man didn't wear his mask, but he's going to make sure they have to video them removing him.
I know you do not want to do it. I know this guy doesn't want to do it, but unfortunately you have to follow these fools' rules, right?
If it's part of their policy that you have
Yeah, so force me out. You're going to make, yes, you're going to have to drag me out.
At that point,
This is what you are doing.
At that point, you could.
You are sowing discord within our communities at every level. It's disgusting. Do you harass your clients and when they're at your restaurant to put on masks?
Sir,
do you harass them?
Sir, we're not going to.
Do you?
At this point, At this point, you could be facing additional charges of obstruction if you don't.
Of what? I get it. I get it.
So then
I
you
get it.
at least
I
come with
get
me.
it.
We can figure it
You're
out.
gonna have to drag me out.
Completely
You
absurd.
know that, right?
All right, sir. Go on.
No, you'll
This is
literally.
an embarrassment to our school.
Don't do it, man.
Read your time.
Relax.
It ain't worth all of that, brother.
Come on, sir.
Read.
Read, no.
Read. Don't resist. Don't resist. Seriously. Don't resist. Please. Read.
Let go of that. You will have to change me in front of all these people.
I really don't want to take
Don't
I
taste it.
don't.
Read. Don't.
And I want these people to video it while they're cops of minority descent have to do this to everybody. Constantly putting you people in these positions.
He just wants to have a say in what's going on. Well, we pay.
And of course, that brings that down to the end there. We don't see whether or not he was actually tased or not, but the point is he's making a stand. And you find that in many places you could still make that stand, as my wife did at a Publix. Went in, got with the manager, and asked straight up, "Are you going to throw me out if I don't wear a mask?" And actually, she got very good response from the manager. "No, we can't say what the people won't say, but no, we won't throw you out." I think if more people would make that stand, it'd be a much better America. So, anyway, you guys have a great day. Thank you for listening. I'm Stephen Benu with Israeli News Live. Good day.